Greetings, friends. My name is Poladak, and I'm your host to welcome you to a podcast that we're calling Breaking Culture. Today, we will discuss issues related to education in Colombia with respect to the acquisition of a second language in a world where technology and the methods of teaching are changing traditional education. We will examine the impact of these issues both inside and outside of the school environment. Today, we have a very special guest, York Santiago Canaveral Marin, who is a student of foreign languages at Universidad Pontificia Bolivariana. York will explain to us the difference between a second language and a foreign language, and at the same time, he will be receiving and answering calls from our listeners. So York, can you give us a quick overview of the difference between a second and a foreign language?
Of course, a second language is any language other than your mother tongue, which can be used fluently and as efficiently as you were using your mother tongue. This is also referred to as bilingualism. Now, on the other hand, a foreign language is a language which doesn't now belong to the native community of the individual who may be learning that language. For example, the English that is taught in all schools in Colombia is not an official language of the country, and therefore, the level of immersion is minimal, and there is no any real necessity to have to speak English in one of daily routines. So, the acquisition of English by students may be slow, and or in many cases not really happen at all, like it happened to me.
So what this means to me is that the Spanish that I learned informally fits in the category of a foreign language, since I am nowhere near as competent in Spanish as I am in English.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that you cannot achieve a high level of fluency. To the contrary, with experience and practice, you can certainly achieve a level approaching bilingualism.
Our first caller. Hello. With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Hi, my name is Daniel Estrada, and I am a student of Business Management at Antioquia's University, and I have two questions about English. First, it never seemed important to the past to be able to speak in English in Colombia society. So why it is important now? And if it's so important, how do we make English a second language in our society of not just a foreign language that a student pay minimal attention to?
Well, in our increasingly global society, English have emerged as the language of global business, and if Colombia wishes to be a growing member of global enterprise, we need to encourage a population that can speak the language of global business. In addition, at a cultural level, English has gained an equivalent popularity in movies, television, music, technology, and many other drivers of global community. It doesn't discount the importance of Spanish in our society, but recognizes that English is here to stay as a driving force of not only global culture but Colombia's culture as well. Now, as to your second question, it is difficult but not impossible to make English a second language in our society. Also, things like movies and music certainly help. For English to be a second language, there needs to be a daily need to use it. Much as USA society that have integrated a large number of Spanish-speaking residents. According to this, our government is trying to facilitate some of this. For example, by bringing in a large number of English-speaking teachers in a program called Colombia Bilingual 2015 to 2018. In addition, with the free trade agreement, we are encouraging new investments in Colombia business by United States, which is likely to bring English-speaking people into the country.
Okay, we have a second caller. Hello. With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Hello, my name is Luis Felipe, and I'm an engineering student. I was wondering what are some of the best ways to make use of technology in the classroom.
Okay, technology has the potential to transform schools to be more flexible and effective, but only if technology is used in a correct manner. The idea is to carefully fit the technology with a specific teaching area. It is essential that the professor make this combination correctly in order to produce positive results. Otherwise, technology can in some instances impede the learning process. So, for example, in my case, I use social networks as a tool for feedback to my students, opening a group forum where I solve doubts about topic from class, where everyone can see the question and answers. But this is done in extracurricular time, not during class, so that I don't waste the valuable teaching time.
Now, it looks like we've just received another question via Twitter. And let me read it to you. It says that learning another language can be frustrating and difficult, especially when you are constantly confronted with words and speech that you either don't understand or are not sure how to express yourself. How do you as a teacher know what my level of understanding is, and how can you help me feel motivated that I'm making good progress?
Well, your level of understanding and motivation are two separate things, but can be related. For many people, if they can clearly see that they are improving their level of understanding, they also increase their level of motivation to learn more. And therefore, as teachers, we must maintain accurate methods of evaluation and we must use the results of the evaluation not only to communicate progress to students, but also to guide the learning process to optimize the students' interest, motivation, and therefore future process. This is my job as a teacher, and there exist teaching methodologies to address this very topic. All teachers learn how to set their expectation for students' learning, plan their teaching program, determine what their specific indicators of successful are, and finally, create a set of evaluation that can measure the students' progress against the standards of success. This basic process is common in the literature, where there exist differences and debate are in the specific do we measure when we are evaluating, and what do we do with the results? Are we measuring how much the students learn and is that sufficient? Maybe certain students have different innate abilities and it is important to measure and understand these abilities in order to more effectively piece that students' learning. Maybe I'm an exceptional good or bad teacher, and what I am really measuring or maybe want to measure is how effectively I teach. Maybe my plan or methods are particularly good or bad, and I want to measure or affect that. Or maybe my students are exceptionally motivated or demotivated and I want to affect that. As a teacher, I have to be aware of all these factors and design my evaluation to try and address all these issues. And as you imply in your question, not only do I need to use these evaluations results to guide my teaching, but I need to use or communicate these results to my students in a way that are useful and motivate to them to encourage and guide their future learning.
Now, to wrap up, I will give you my final question. My experience with Spanish has been generally very positive, and I can communicate well with many people when I visit Colombia. However, there are also many people that I assume are speaking Spanish, but I have no idea what they are saying. It is almost as if there is more than one kind of Spanish that's being spoken. Is this divergence of Spanish in Colombia a positive thing, or should something be done to reconverge to a more common level of speech?
Okay. You're probably referring to the slang or street talk that is common in many neighborhoods in Medellin, and really it is not so appropriate. I propose that teachers be more proactive in illuminating that the contrast in different speech mannerisms and how the use of slang is inappropriate in so many professional and life situations. For example, imagine if a nurse says, "Madre, no se preocupe que yo le abotono la herida." In this situation, the nurse would lose all credibility about their education and abilities as a nurse. So, students must be taught that their level of speech in Spanish will be important for their professional success in life.
Okay, that's all the time we have. Thank you, Mr. Canaveral, for your insightful answers, and thanks to our audience for your participation and thoughtful questions. Goodbye.